Lil Jeff's death continues to spark conversation online, and his killer has a message for Lil Jeff's affiliates.
I don't take that serious, man. They're trying to kill me my whole life, bro. I ain't gonna let you. You gotta show me for real.
And he's not making it easy for them after Lil Jeff's killer went online and revealed the rapper's last words. Jeff's people swore they'd take him out, but the story only gets crazier, more drama, more deaths, and now people are noticing how much Jeff and King Von were alike. Some even say Jeff was trying to be the next Von. The deeper you go into this story, the wilder it gets, and I'm here to break it all down. Lil Jeff's last words prove one thing. Trap City Rob isn't scared of anyone, I mean anybody bold enough to empty a clip into the fearless. Lil Jeff is not someone to take lightly, and now with Jeff's crew looking for someone to unleash their pain on Trap City Rob has sent a message. People have been trying to kill him his whole life, and none of them have ever succeeded.
You don't be getting death threats. That's why I was asked. If you ain't even get a chance to even ask that.
I don't take that serious, man. They're trying to kill me my whole life, bro. I ain't gonna let you. You gotta show me for real.
Trap City Rob wasn't lying on June 8, 2024 cameras. Caught a series of events that proved his ops would have a hard time catching him slipping on. It changed his life forever. By the early hours of June 9th, news broke of a fatal shooting in Chicago. Reports confirmed that the victim was rapper Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Not long after, CCTV footage of the incident surfaced online showing the chaos play out in real time. The surveillance footage from the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue showed a group of people near a house with several parked cars. Among them were Lil Jeff's homies. The ones in the black car, a person dressed all in black, another in red, later identified as Q50, and someone in a white hoodie. Meanwhile, a man in yellow shorts was seen trying to get into a car. That's when Lil Jeff spotted him. The black car door opened and Lil Jeff jumped out. Without hesitation, he chased the man in yellow shorts. But as soon as he ran, his figure disappeared from the cameras. View blocked by a large pillar of the house. While Jeff was chasing his target, his crew didn't follow. Instead, they turned their guns toward a gray car and opened fire. Jeff did manage to hit the man in yellow shorts once in the chest, but before he could go any further, two more shooters suddenly came out of an alley and started firing back. Lil Jeff was hit hard, his body thrown to the ground at the foot of the porch. As he lay there helpless, the attackers finished the job. Reports say they emptied an entire magazine into him from above, making sure he wasn't getting back up. Q50 and another shooter tried to return fire, but it was already too late. Jeff was gone. His crew panicked, jumped back in their car, and sped off, leaving him behind. In a pool of blood, the CCTV footage then showed a haunting scene. Jeff's homies desperately carrying his body from the porch. After he'd been shot up, trying to rush him to safety. Scanner reports confirmed he'd been hit 15 times before being transported to the hospital. Despite their efforts, Lil Jeff was pronounced dead upon arrival. By the time authorities got there, the block was a war zone. 58 shell casings were scattered across the pavement, evidence of just how wild the shootout had been. Meanwhile, the man in yellow shorts wounded but alive made it to the hospital with his crew. He had taken a bullet to the chest but survived. That man was none other than Trap City Rob. He had looked death in the face and lived to tell the tale. But survival came with a price. According to Trench's News, Rob was picked up by police soon after. Investigators claim that unloading 19 shots into Jeff while he was already on the ground wasn't self-defense, it was overkill.
And the paperwork can say he was hit 19 times in the chest area.
He was shot 19
times. And that's why I think they grabbed Rob for the murder, because it's overkill. It ain't self-defense 19 times.
However, reports surfaced on Reddit showing that Trap City Rob had his charges downgraded from first-degree murder to a gunch another. Reddit post revealed that Trap City Rob was initially arrested for the Lil Jeff murder because a witness placed him at the scene when Lil Jeff died. However, the Chicago Police Department investigated and couldn't prove that he was the actual shooter, so they just dropped his murder charge and gave him a gun charge. A photo of Trap City Rob has leaked onto Reddit showing him in good shape and in good spirits. It was a relief to his growing fan base, who have been anxiously waiting for news. You see, he has become so popular that he has his own subreddit called Trap City Unk Gang, where there are more than 2,500 members calling themselves nephews.
Look, they got a group called Trap City Unk Gang. Right. That's the group.
Right.
Gang, and his pictures on there, and then they got, look, it say 1,000, the members in there, it say 1,738 nephews.
Despite the Love Trap City Rob has asked Redditors to stop posting false information for clicks.
Man, I just feel like they bogus, man. Whoever started that, man, please stop doing stuff like that. Like, for real, this is like real life, though, you know? So, it's not no video game. It's not no movie, you know what I'm saying? It's reality.
Although the Redditor may have gotten some details wrong, we're on point about many other things, such as how it all started, according to this. Reddit posts the beef between Trap City and Bloodhound started when Lil Jeff stole Trap City Carter's chain. This is accurate, as Trap City Rob narrated how the war began and revealed that Lil Jeff used to be cool with Trap City.
They say his dad from down here, Big Jeff, some shit like that. Big Jeff.
Anybody you got
Also, his daddy is from down here.
Motherfuckers used to hang with them. They know what they did.
So okay.
They know what they did.
So okay, the Bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
Everybody that got a
That was my homie.
However, all that changed after Lil Jeff stole a chain.
He stole a chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my own chain.
Who was that South Jackson?
Nah, bro. One of the other guys.
According to Trap City Rob, one of his affiliates let Lil Jeff wear his chain, however. Lil Jeff never returned the jewelry and claimed that he got into an altercation with the cops and lost.
And the weather J, he come back, like he got into a house when he was 12. Last thing, he lost it. You know what I'm saying? That's how much broke they little shit. You know what I'm saying?
That chain of events didn't just end with Lil Jeff's death, it sparked a wave of retaliation that would claim the lives of dozens of teens across Chicago. Even after Jeff was gone and buried, his affiliates kept sliding for him, and one of the first to pay the price in this deadly saga was Trap City Carter. It was only a matter of time. Lil Jeff's people wanted blood for their fallen home, even though it was Jeff who had gone looking for trouble in the first place. Still, revenge doesn't care about logic, and on October 20th, 2024, they found their target. News outlets reported a man was killed in Chicago's Oakland neighborhood the night before. Around 8:41 p.m. on South Ellis Avenue, gunfire erupted. Witnesses said two men walked straight up on their target, guns drawn, and opened fire without hesitation. The 32-year-old victim had no chance. Within seconds, the shooters jumped into a white car and sped off into the night. Paramedics rushed the victim to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but the damage was too severe: multiple gunshot wounds to the chest, too much blood lost. Doctors tried, but he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The medical examiner later confirmed his identity: Trevor Carter, better known as Trap City Carter. Lil Jeff's affiliates wasted no time making it known this was payback. They hit social media with cryptic posts celebrating Carter's death, hinting it was get back for Jeff. One of Jeff's closest allies, Q50, went on Instagram and posted 3 blunts with a message implying the mission was completed. Had finally avenged his homie. Grief booze feet kicked up now. I can get rich. I love and miss y'all. That was the caption. But at the end, he added something chilling. P.S. It ain't over. And true to his words, it wasn't over. In fact, things were about to get a whole lot messier, because just days later, another life would be lost in this gang war. Only this time, the victim had nothing to do with the streets. On November 2nd, what should have been a final farewell for Trap City Carter turned into yet another tragedy. In Chicago news outlets reported that a woman was shot and killed while attending her brother's funeral procession in South Suburban Dixmoor. She had come to grieve to honor the life of someone she loved. Instead, she lost her own at exactly 12:01 p.m. Dixmoor police were called to 147th Street and Sealy Avenue, where a white Jaguar SUV had crashed into a house, but the real horror wasn't the crash, it was what officers discovered inside. Behind the wheel, a 34-year-old woman, slumped over, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She had been driving in the funeral procession leaving St. Mark's Church in Harvey when the shots rang out, the very streets that carried her brother's final journey had just become the site of her own. Paramedics rushed her to UChicago Medicine Ingalls Memorial Hospital in Harvey, fighting to keep her alive, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead soon after arrival. Authorities later identified her as Romesha Turner of Calumet Park. Trap City Carter's sister. For Lil Jeff's affiliates, there was no line too far. shooting up a funeral targeting the innocent, murdering an already dead ops family member. The cycle of revenge had reached new lows, and as shocking as it was, Chicago wasn't the only place this had happened on January 2024. Memphis saw something eerily similar at a funeral service on Winchester Road. Big Juke, known for helping manage his brother Yo Gotti's CMG label, was gunned down while paying his respects. Hours before the shooting, he even posted a photo, never knowing it would be one of his last. They want to snake. You stay alert, stay alive, watch your back at all times, put snakes on the plate, and eat great. He and other family members had gathered to pay their respects to his late uncle Eric Bovana, legendary Memphis cocaine kingpin from the 1980s and head of the Bovan family. Eric had passed away on December 31st, 2024. The age of 63, and his funeral drew in dozens of family and friends. But what should have been a moment of remembrance quickly turned violent. Outside the facility in the parking lot, gunfire erupted. By the time the smoke cleared, Big Juke was the ground bleeding out. He was fatally wounded. Police launched a manhunt, immediately urging the public to come forward with any information. And within a day, witnesses delivered. They reported that a white Ford Explorer SUV with black rims and tinted windows was spotted fleeing the scene. Surveillance footage confirmed it, capturing the vehicle as it sped away. But that wasn't all. Multiple witnesses claimed they had noticed two suspicious men inside the church during the funeral. They were seated quietly at the back, watching Juke closely before slipping out earlier than the rest of the mourners. It was clear was being hunted, and the most chilling part, the vehicle Juke was in when he was murdered also carried his mother sitting in the back seat. Whoever was after him didn't care who else got hurt. They wanted Big Juke gone, no matter the collateral damage. That left one burning question: who wanted Yo Gotti's brother dead? As online detectives started piecing things together, one theory stood out. It all traced back to the murder of Yo Gotti's biggest rival, Young Dolph. You see, Big Juke had never hidden his feelings about Dolph. Even after Dolph's death in 2021, Juke openly mocked him. He went on Instagram, trashing a street mural that featured NLE, Shoppa, Moneybag Yo, and Young Dolph side by side. He made it clear he had no respect for Dolph's legacy, and in the streets, disrespect doesn't just fade away.
I don't paint no beside too real with a in the middle, man. Y'all don't do that, man. Don't f about legacy. So right here, y'all. Two gangsters.
What is even more disturbing were the allegations that Big Juck had put a $40,000 bounty on Young Dolph's head. He then approached his right-hand man to look for goons to carry out the murder.
See Juke, if I see Gotti, if I see Migo, or if I see Youngster, I'ma get on this shit. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, bro. You don't know that Juke put a hit out, bro. Don't know this shit. Hey man, look, bro, my Juke put a $40,000 hit on you, bro.
And like Yo Gotti's brother Lil Jeff's, Opes and their families weren't safe because his affiliates were getting the job done. They were determined to slide for Jeff, because while he was alive, he had single-handedly made all their ops afraid of the Bloodhounds. He had done this so effectively that he was being compared to one of the most ruthless gangsters in Chicago's drill history. Lil Jeff, the new King Va.
He did an interview with DJU where he was talking about, the rumor that he had 10 bodies and stuff like that. And, people were saying that he was trying to be the next King Von.
Lil Jeff was moving recklessly when he was still alive, that people were starting to compare him to King Von. For anyone who knows King Von's reputation in the streets, you already know that it takes a special kind of evil to get compared to him. I mean, King Von was described as rap's first serial killer. Von loved sliding on his ops so much that some of them, like King Yella, had a feeling that he wasn't human.
Von was he was a different individual, bro. He was just, something was wrong with him. That's not human, man. You're not regular, man. The devil, man. That's the devil, man. Real. That nigga was the devil.
And some of his ops, like FBG Young, were over the moon when he was killed in Atlanta.
When you looked at King Von getting killed, how did you feel? Considering the animosity between you guys up to that point.
Like my real first action.
Yeah.
Thought, I was happy.
You're happy.
I was happy.
But one thing that made V so dangerous and feared by his ops was that he made murder sound fascinating and appealing.
So, man, when you listen to the lyrics, he make killing somebody sound appealing and fascinating.
Surprisingly, Lil Jeff started moving just like King Von, dropping violent music, bragging about killing his ops, trolling dead rivals, and even rapping about killing female gangsters. What's shocking is that both Von and Jeff were killed in almost the exact same way, and even after their deaths, both still had their names tied to murder cases when it came to disrespectful drill music. Von was one of the masters. He never missed a chance to diss his dead enemies. Take FBG Duck, for example. On August 4th, 2020, Duck was shot and killed in broad daylight. Just a month later, King Von dropped the track GTA, where he mocked Duck's death rapping. Von Wapsie made a diss, and now he a ghost, and it happened fast, we need a toast. Truth is, Duck's death wasn't random, it was retaliation for him dissing. Von's best friend T-Roy on his remix of Exposing Me, Duck dissed Roy with the line, T-Roy ain't get shot inside his head, but he ain't make it though. They got so many dead, I don't know who to smoke. That disrespect sealed his fate. Duck's murder was caught on camera, and the footage was horrifying. A black car pulled up outside a store. Men jumped out with guns and opened fire as Duck tried to run. He didn't make it after the shooting. The gunmen jumped back into their Corsa black sedan and a gray Chrysler and sped away. CCTV footage even showed that same Chrysler returning to O-Block with a police cruiser chasing close behind. But Von's disses didn't stop with Duck. He also mocked Duck's brother FBG Brick, who had been killed 3 years earlier on the track. Pressing, Von rapped, I mean a switch. I can shoot a brick and they still say I hit. I mean, they caught that brick and hit him back on July 17th, 2017. FBG, Brick, and his cousin Kobe Mack were in the Woodlawn neighborhood when a car pulled up. The shooters were originally looking for FBG Duck, but when they couldn't find him, they left Brick and Kobe dead instead.
So they were standing out there, and this block was full of people. And the story that I'm hearing was a car pulled up and asked for Duck. Like, yo, Duck out here? And everybody looking like, who is you? They didn't recognize who was in the car.
Later at around 2:50 p.m., shots rang out. Police were called to the 6,300 block of South St. Lawrence, where they discovered a
Later at around 2:50 p.m., shots rang out. Police were called to the 6300 block of South St. Lawrence, where they discovered a horrifying scene. Kobe Mack lay in front of a home with a gunshot wound to the head, while FBG Brick was found in the back. Gangway suffering from gunshot wounds to the back and arm.
They instantly shot Kobe. And Brick tried to run and jump a gate. And was shot in the back.
Just like Von, Lil Jeff also rapped about his ops deaths in his music on his track, Jeff Spit. When I speak it's only facts. He was screaming when he got hit. Just walked in lids for 2 hats, really stepping on blood. Know how it get bounced out with 4 sticks, 2 got hit. That wasn't just random wordplay. Jeff was bragging about one of his most infamous drills. It happened on Friday, January 26, 2024 at exactly 12:30 p.m. 2 cars pulled up near the Washington train station, just a short distance from Innovations High School in downtown Chicago. As soon as the cars stopped, masked gunmen jumped out and opened fire. Their targets were Monty and Lil Robin, the shooters. Didn't miss, both teens were left bleeding on the ground. Before the gunmen sped off, first responders rushed to the scene, but by the time Monty and Lil Rob made it to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, they were both pronounced dead on arrival. The aftermath was caught on video by a witness standing on the train platform above the street. The graphic clip showed the final moments of 2 young lives slipping away, and it quickly went viral online. In the video, you could even hear one of the victims' last groans of pain. Same sound Lil Jeff later mocked by naming his track and Jeff didn't stop there. He continued to taunt their deaths on social media, posting every chance he got. But this wasn't the only chilling similarity between Von and Lil Jeff. Both are rumored to have killed female gangsters. For Von, it was Kef. For Jeff, it was 25-year-old D-Money. The shooting happened in the early hours of November 1st, 2023. Lil Deuce and D-Money were sitting inside their parked car on the 8,300 block of South Dorchester Avenue. Out of nowhere, 2 individuals crept up on the vehicle. Before the victims could react, the gunman unleashed a hail of bullets, then fled on foot, disappearing. Into the night, it was a calculated hit. Lil Deuce was riddled with bullets, several striking his chest. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead on arrival. D-Money was also shot a bullet. Tearing into her torso, she fought for her life at the same hospital, but she too died from her injuries. Almost immediately, Lil Jeff became the prime suspect, and since Jeff lived for internet clout, he couldn't resist fueling the rumors soon after. The news broke, he went online posting cryptic messages with hat emojis, a symbol often used to mark a body count. But what stood out was that one of the hats looked like a woman's hat, which many believed was a direct reference to D-Money Now. Here's where history repeats. D-Money wasn't just any bystander, she was deep in the streets. Internet rumors claim she was a shooter for her gang. In fact, photos show her with FBG, Wooski, one of the most well-known names in Chicago drill, and one of Von's deadliest rivals, and just like Lil Jeff allegedly targeted D-Money, King Von was tied to the murder of a female gangster years earlier. KI back in 2014, 17-year-old Akira Barnes, aka Key, already had a reputation as one of Chicago's most feared female assassins. She was allegedly connected to multiple killings, but that reputation couldn't save her. On April 11, 2014. Key was walking with her brother and a friend in the 6400 block of South Eberhart. A hooded gunman stepped out of the shadows, pulled a handgun, and opened fire. Key was struck 9 times, bullets ripping through her mouth, neck, and chest. In a desperate attempt to escape, she tried to run but collapsed on a neighbor's porch. She was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, but the damage was too severe. She was gone. Her brother and friend were also hit, but survived. Police made it clear from the start. Kerr was the target for years. Rumors swirled that Von was the killer. Police even arrested him after. Eyewitnesses identified him, but the case fell apart for lack of hard evidence. Von walked free. It wasn't until after Von's own death in 2020 that the truth came out. Official reports later confirmed what the streets had long suspected. King Von was indeed the one who executed Key. The shooter was described as wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans. He walked up to the group, pulled out a gun, and unleashed a storm of bullets, hitting all 3 victims just as quickly. He disappeared into a getaway car. What's wild is that Lil Jeff was later tied to the murders of Monty and Lil Rob. After his own death, police pieced the case together using social media posts, phone records, stolen car reports, and hours of surveillance footage. That's how they identified the shooter's hand. One of them was Lil Jeff. If he had survived, he could have been arrested, alongside 22-year-old Tommy Coleman, who's now facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and gun possession as a felon. But here's another crazy similarity between Lil Jeff and King Von: the way they died. We already know Lil Jeff was shot while sliding on his ops. King Von met a similar fate on November 6, 2020. That night, Von had just left Opium nightclub after celebrating the release of his debut album Welcome to O-Block. He pulled up to Monaco Hookah Lounge, where his ops Quando Rondo and Lul Tim were also hanging out. The second Von stepped out of his car. One of his guys told him he had just spotted Quando in the parking lot. Von didn't hesitate, ran straight toward him, and threw the first punch. His crew joined in, beating Quando to the ground as he tried to fight back. Out of nowhere, Lul Tim jumped out with a gun and opened fire. Von was hit in the torso. Chaos erupted. 2 off-duty cops nearby returned fire, shooting Lul Tim. Von's team rushed him into a car and sped to the hospital, while Quando and Tim also drove themselves to the same hospital. Sadly, Von didn't make it, died during surgery. At the end of the day, both Lil Jeff and King Von lived and died the same way in the streets. There are usually only 2 outcomes: jail or the grave. As FBG Butter once said, King Vons don't last long in the streets.